Hi everybody, my name's Stuart Moore, and on this video we're going to talk about winter dieback on our butterfly bush.
Inconceivable!
Welcome to spring, everybody, and with spring typically comes a little bit of winter dieback, and in my experience winter dieback happens a lot with butterfly bush. Now typically on the larger size butterfly bush we trim those pretty heavy because they bloom on new growth and they do have a tendency to get a little unruly. Now this is a Pugster blue butterfly bush that I was so proud of. It got enormous. Last year was its first year. This is the second year for landscaping in this new house. It was absolutely completely covered in blooms the entire year. It had blooms on it when I planted it, and it bloomed consistently until the first frost. And then the first frost, there wasn't a second frost for almost 3 or 4 weeks. Welcome to Missouri. And it bloomed again. So, I mean, the dwarf butterfly bush is constant entertainment in the garden. I've never seen as many butterflies as was on this. Moths that look like bumblebees. It was like a doggone Disney movie every single time I walked out of my house.
Not in front of the kids. Oh, sorry.
There was birds and butterflies flying all over the place. So I don't want to pull this out.
It?
He took it out?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
And we got down to -15. I got in my car, it said -11. I turned on the radio, it says -15. So it was cold. It was definitely very, very cold. The butterfly bush didn't like that. Now, I'm just excited that I'm seeing some growth down here on the bottom. I didn't completely lose this because of root rot, which is typically what you lose butterfly bush to in the wintertime. Because the roots shouldn't, here, it doesn't get cold enough to kill any roots. We had some snow on the ground, so that was insulating those. About right where the new growth is right about where the snow line was. So the snow very well could have saved this butterfly bush. I mean, I don't know. Now we're gonna get in there, we're gonna prune it back a little bit. On another video that I did, we were talking about pruning a snow fountain cherry and about looking for that viable tissue, that green cambium layer, and we're kind of gonna do the same thing here. Let's just get into it. Here's where we start. If you remember the other videos, you just break out the trusty Coronas and you just start looking for healthy tissue. That ain't it. See how it's hollowed out? It's all brown. So that's not good stuff. It's not going to be aesthetically pleasing. We are going to just start working our way back on each one of these limbs. And there's nothing there. If you'll notice, right here, we have some growth coming out. And that's where we're going to stop.
I'm drunk now. I'm drunk right now.
So this right here is where we're going to stop pruning because we have growth there. Now I know what you're saying.
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
I had this big, huge, beautiful dwarf butterfly bush, the Pugster blue, and I'm literally going to cut it back to where I see new growth. And you're 100% right, but keep in mind that these are not an inexpensive proven winner to buy in a 3-gallon.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it back because I'm relying on the fact that this grew very, very well all year long. It's still alive, and I'm going to see what it's going to do once I prune it back. I think we're going to be pretty impressed with how vigorous this is going to grow because it has all of this root base. And that's the advantage when you use the beneficial fungus and bacteria inoculants. You do the root stimulator every 30 days. You put in the 2-year fertilizer tablets. I have faith that this thing is going to punch out of it. Now, I could be wrong. You guys are going to be with me along the journey for the rest of the year, and we're going to keep tabs on this thing. But if you plant something the right way, right? If you give it all the chances that it can to survive, I mean, what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose, a lot of digging, because you got to plant 3 more.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Let's take a look at the rest of these, and I mean, I can just tell by looking at it, they're toast. Yeah, we're not getting in any healthy tissue here. So I'm just gonna nip this larger piece here. So there was nothing going on in there. And I'm just taking my time and make sure I'm not pruning off anything that's going to be helpful. Now I see a little guy down here. So I'm going to stop on this branch. I'm going to leave this branch here because I see a little bit of growth there. Yeah. Jeez Louise. I can tell you what, I'm not necessarily like excited, but I am a little bit curious to how this is going to do. All right, on to the next one, I guess. Let's trim this down. Now this one doesn't get as much sun as the rest of them early in the year. We've got to get a little later in the year for this to be getting a ton of the good sun, which is between 10 and 3. So this one is not leafing out as much as some of the other ones over here. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to, again, take it slow, not try to squish my Shasta daisy here, and just take a look, because I can't get overly cocky on this one because I don't know how much of this tissue actually survived the winter.
Oscar Mayer wieners are all meat, all good meat, rich and complete meat protein, mildly seasoned to bring out all the good meat flavor.
Yeah, but I feel like me being cautious is not doing me any favor. So I know it looks dramatic, but remember, whenever you have to cut back an established shrub or an established perennial, just remember these had an entire year of bliss. I mean, they were getting hot, full sun. They had you know, I had soaker hose on stuff. I mean, 2-year fertilizer tablets. There was mushrooms all over the place in here. It was a fungal rich environment. I don't feel like I set them up for failure. I mean, you'll hear me, I'm sure, say in the future, you only have so much surface area in your flower beds. Put plants in that perform, but these haven't disappointed me yet. I mean, if you look back here, my hostas are barely up. So I've still got a lot of year left, and if I need to give these guys a year to just put on a ton more growth, then I'm willing to do that, because they gave me so much enjoyment last year. It was constant, again, constant entertainment. I couldn't have been happier with them. It was one of my favorite things in the garden. We're just gonna give them a chance, repay them for all the pleasure that we got out of them last year. So don't give up.
God damn you, bitch! You never backed away from anything in your life. Now fight! Fight!
Wanted to give you a quick update on those butterfly bush that I had pruned. Now, these were Pugster blues, these were dwarf butterfly bush. Now it's May 3rd, everything is starting to wake up. The daffodils are kind of done. In that last video, I think the daffodils hadn't even fully popped. The hostas weren't up. The sweet summer hydrangea tree hadn't popped up yet.
Hello, this is Robert Scott with Getting Rid of Tan Lines. Now, everyone thinks a tan is fashionable and healthy, but truly it's not.
Anyway, long story short, these are looking good. I'm glad I didn't give up on them. It instills a lot of faith when you plant something correctly. Inoculate the soil, put the 2-year fertilizer tablets in. You know, that sort of thing makes me feel more confident that they're gonna start doing their thing. Now again, it's May 3rd. I'm not even in Mother's Day yet, you know? So I'm still pretty excited. Let's see what we can do. Let's stick it out. I'm glad I didn't have to replace, you know, $50 proven winner 3-gallon Pugster blues. And I can spend that money putting more butterfly bush someplace else, or another, you know, Ito peony or something to that effect. Those more expensive things. Now I don't have to allot, you know, I mean, literally $150. It frees up a lot of that money that I was going to spend on other plants or spending on replacing this. Now I can spend it on other plants. Alrighty, until the next butterfly bush update video. Alright guys, it is June 24th. Here is what the butterfly bush looked like June 24th. Hey guys, so it's right now, it is a couple days after Thanksgiving on November, and I wanted to show you this fuzz. No, I wanted to show you my butterfly bush. Now these are the butterfly bush that we trimmed all the way down to the ground, and I've been sitting on this footage waiting to share it with you guys until they had reached dormancy. Now clearly they slowed down a lot. There's not really any new blooms. Sometimes we can get lucky. We'll have a couple weeks where it's 50, 60-ish in November, sometimes in December. And if it hasn't gone dormant for too long, I can get some more little blooms out of it here and there. But as it stands right now, I haven't seen any more of that. Now, with butterfly bush, I leave the foliage on. I don't trim them, because I know the reality of butterfly bush is in the spring, you're probably going to have to go back and trim them relatively hard. But I want to give you solace with this video that it's not going to be that big of a deal, because they grow so fast. So this is just a little shorter, I think, than what it was last year. I think it's just a little shorter and maybe not as wide, but I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed when something's this big and it gets this big in that year. And that's because it had a 1 full year of root development feeding this top mass. That's really what it is. So don't feel guilty about having to cut stuff back. Give stuff a chance. This is Butterfly Bush. I'm Stuart Moore with Landscape Rescue. Thank you very much for letting me into your home to talk about plants.